Hi, and welcome to another live class, a class that actually I didn't plan, I only announced 1 hour ago. Let me just check my sound before we continue. Yeah, it looks okay. So today is class 6, so going through these classes very quickly because I've managed to actually have 5 classes, 2 classes a day, 2 classes a week for the last 3 weeks. So welcome to class 6. And right now it doesn't look like we got anybody in the chat, and that's because I didn't announce the class before. So I'll just carry on with the class anyway. Let's begin. Today we're going to look at the present. Sorry, I'm not going to look at the present. We're going to look at the future. Today we're going to look at the future. In the last class we were looking at past tenses. So let's begin the class. Today we're going to look at the future tenses. So we'll begin the class here. I've got some, let's get to the right place. Here I've got some statements here, and all of these statements are using different structures in the future. Let's just check that you can see all of those. Let me just move this over here. All of these structures are using, all of these statements are using different structures in the future. So I'll begin by reading these statements. The first one up here says, I need to go because I'm meeting my wife for lunch at 1 p.m. So all of these phrases have a structure in the future. Meeting my wife for lunch at 1 p.m. Yeah, actually got somebody in the chat. Salim, hi Salim, and German, hi. And also Alondra and Fabi Marin, nice to meet you. Where are you from? So we've actually got some people watching now. At the beginning it was a bit disconcerting because there wasn't actually anyone there. And we got Javier and Alejandro, Roberto from Mexico, and who else? That's about it at the moment. So what we're looking at today is the future. In the last class, class 5, we looked at the past, and we looked at 3 tenses to do with the past, or 3 past tenses, sorry. Those past tenses were the past continuous, the past simple, and the past perfect. So today we're going to be looking at some ways of talking about the future. So here on the first screen, I hope you can see this, I've got some structures that we can use to talk about the future. Yeah, hi Salim. Let's begin with the first one. I need to go because I'm meeting my wife for lunch at 1 p.m. So this is a statement about the future. 1 p.m. is in the future because it's only 12 p.m. now. Second one, this is said in the restaurant. When the person orders, they look at the menu and they say, I'll have the salad please, to the waiter. Again, this is in the future because he's ordering now, and it's the salad he's going to eat in the future. The next structure we have in the future is Josh is going to study medicine at university next year. Again, all of these are in the future, talking about the future. Next year is in the future. Another structure, 3 different structures to talk about the future. I'm meeting my wife for lunch at 1 p.m. I'll have the salad please. And Josh is going to study. 3 structures to talk about the future. Here we have some more structures or more statements about the future. I promise I'll do my homework. Something that many students say to me or said to me when I used to teach English in classrooms, always said to me, I'll do my homework. Another structure or another statement, look at the sky, I think it's going to rain. Look at the sky, I think it's going to rain. And another one, very similar, I think it'll rain tomorrow. I think it'll rain tomorrow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 structures or 6 statements which look at these, all talking about the future. Which one is a prediction? Actually, there are two here that are predictions. Which one is an instant decision, a decision made at the moment speaking? Which one is an arrangement? I just realized there I should have put an, because this here, this noun here, begins with a vowel, so we need to put an instead of a. Which one of these is an arrangement? Which one is a plan? And which one is a promise? Which one is a promise? A promise. So this one, let's begin with this one here. Yes, somebody, Sandra, remember the rule in this class. Does everybody remember the rule in this class? The rule in this class, because this level is intermediate level and supreme. No Spanish. I remember the rule in this level. I hope you can see that, because this is intermediate level. If you don't understand, click below the video in the links and do level A1 and level A2, which are in Spanish. At this level, we don't want to use any Spanish. So let's go back to these. We've got 2 predictions, 2 instant decisions, an arrangement, a plan and a promise. Who can tell me what this one is here? I need to go because I'm meeting my wife for lunch at 1 p.m. The first is a plan. No, it's not a plan. Well, it's similar to a plan, but here it's another. This is the structure we're looking at in the first one here. Oh, sorry, I lost it. Let's put it in red. I'm meeting. In a minute, we'll discuss these structures or tenses, if they're tenses. I'm meeting my wife for lunch at 1 p.m. Russell says it's an arrangement, and Roberto says it's an arrangement. Very good. This one here is an arrangement. This is an arrangement. In a minute, we'll discuss the structures. This one here is an arrangement. So let's put there. This is an arrangement. An arrangement. In a minute, we'll discuss what structures we're using. So we can take an arrangement off there because we've already used it. So we've got 2 predictions. Who can tell me the predictions? The predictions. Who can tell me the predictions? This one here is an arrangement. Who can tell me predictions? We have 2 predictions. We have 2 predictions. Going to rain, it's gonna rain. Yeah, Best says it's gonna. That's interesting, but we'll discuss that later. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. That is one prediction. This one here is a prediction. Look at the sky. It's going to rain. Prediction. Let's make that easier to see. Can you see another prediction? We've done that one. Let's put the ones we've done over here, I think, and move the other ones down here. So we've got one prediction. Can we see another prediction? Yeah, Russell says it'll rain. I think it'll rain. Here we have another prediction. I think I'll put these two together to save space. Let's put that one in there. So we got two predictions with different structures. Let's make this easier to understand by making it like this. And we can remove the predictions from there because we've used those two. So here we have two predictions. The first one is it's going to rain. It's going to rain. And the second one is it'll rain. Two structures to talk about predictions. So we got an arrangement and two predictions. What have we got left? We want to find an instant decision, a plan and a promise. But you told us we have to use the contractions. Which one am I not using the contractions? I don't understand. I told you yes, I did tell you. Well, I didn't tell you that you had to use the contractions because contractions is optional. It's not an obligation. But what I told you was it is better to use the contractions. In some of these I haven't used the contractions because at this point I'm just looking at the structures. Later on when I explain them in more detail, then I will talk about the contractions and the pronunciation, because earlier on somebody said it's gonna rain and I want to discuss that later, but at the moment I want to concentrate on the structures with or without the contractions. Here's a contraction here, here's a contraction, here's a contraction. This one doesn't have a contraction and this one does. There's only one here that doesn't have the contraction. Yeah, Roberto says Josh is going to study medicine at university next year. That's a plan. Very good. That's a plan. So up here we can put that's a plan. And of course, Josh is going to study, what was somebody else said, the other one? Salim, very good Salim. I promise I'll do my homework. This one obviously is a promise because it says above, a promise. And finally, this one here, there's only one left. It's an instant decision, says Russell. Very good, Russell. If I move that up a bit, I think you can still see it. So this one here, let's move that out of the way if we can. This one here, no, I made it too small. I think you can still see that. So going back to this one is a plan. This one is a plan. Let's get this. That one's a plan. So the structure here is going to study, is going to study. Actually, we could probably contract this. Somebody mentioned the contractions earlier, so let's put that there. Josh is going to study medicine. Josh is going to study medicine at university next year. This one here is a promise. Here we're using will. I'll do my homework. And finally, we have the last one, which is the instant decision here. Instant decision. I think I've probably instant decision. So here the structure is will. The structure is will. So let's just put this here. So I spelled decision wrong here. Sorry, yeah, this one here is will. So here we're going to put this red, okay, so we can see the structures, and let's put this here, regular. Got a problem here, sorry, with the program. Sorry, that's spelled wrong. It's the other way around, sorry, it should be like that, an instant decision. Okay, so we've got a plan, we've got a promise, we've got a prediction, we've got an arrangement, and we've got an instant decision. So let's look at some of the structures. In a minute we're going to discuss these in detail. First of all, we've got three. 1, 2, 3, using this structure. I'll do, I'll have, and it'll rain. One for a promise, one for an instant decision, and one for a prediction. So first of all, can anybody tell me what will is? What word is will, and what tense is this? What tense is this? Anyone tell me the name of this tense? What tense is this? Can anyone tell me? Can anybody tell me the name of this tense? And can anybody tell me future? Future what? Future simple, future perfect, future continuous, future perfect continuous. Which future is it? And what is the double L? It's a modal verb for the future, Fabi, yeah? What's the name of that verb? And what's the name of the tense? Future simple, yeah, very good. This is the future simple with will. The future simple with will. Let's put that there. What's happening? I've got two. That's it. The future simple with will. So the first rule then, the first rule we can see is that the future simple with will, and in a minute we'll look more at how this is formed, we use for promises. I'll do my homework, I promise. We can use it for predictions. It'll rain tomorrow. And we can use it when we make an instant decision. Now, another structure that we have here is this one here that we see in the plan. Josh is going to study. In the prediction, it's going to rain, and I think that's it, yeah, only in those two. And this one, we'll just call this going to. So we can see that we can use going to for plans, future plans, and predictions. So we got two ways of talking about predictions. We've got the future simple with will and the going to structure. And finally, the other one we have on here is an arrangement. And can anybody tell me the name of this tense? I'm meeting. Who can tell me the name of this tense here? We saw this tense a couple of weeks ago, I think, and we've seen this tense many times before. Who can tell me the name of this tense? I'm meeting. I'm meeting. It's the continuous. Yeah, actually it's the, what continuous is it? Is it the future continuous, the past continuous, the present continuous, the future continuous? The present continuous, Coyote, very good. It's the present continuous. So we've already seen this tense before. This tense we can use to talk about things happening now, but we can also use it for future arrangements. Present continuous. So, before we go to the next page, we saw here that we have the present continuous for future arrangements, going to or will for plans. Can't move that now. Going to or will, sorry, for predictions. Going to or will for predictions, not plans. Will for promises or instant decisions, and going to for plans. Okay, let's go finally to the next page. So the first one we're going to look at is going to. So we use a going to structure to talk about future plans. Future plans. Use the going to structure to talk about future plans. How do we form going to? Well, this is the going to structure here. I've written here. Let's put it in red. So to form going to, we need first of all the subject. We need the subject. In this sentence, it's I. Then we need the verb be in the correct form. We need the verb be correct, that corresponds to the subject. So it's going to be am, is, or are. We need to use am, is, or are. Next, we need to use the two words going to. And finally, we need the main verb. I'm going to sell the car. So here we have with the other subjects. If the subject is a you, we, or they, we need to use are. You are going to sell the car. We are going to sell the car. And they are going to sell the car. Yes, sorry, you can't see it. It's need to move it over here. I had it too far over there. Sorry about that. Yeah, here again, let me explain the structure again because you couldn't see it very clearly. Going to for future plans, you need to use the subject. You need to use the verb be. Then you need going to, and then you need the main verb. I am going to sell the car. The verb be needs to correspond to the subject. So if the subject is you, we, or they, we need to use are. We need to use are. And if the subject is he, she, or it, we need to use is. So this structure, as we saw in the last screen, is used to talk about future plans. What do we mean by a future plan? A future plan is something that you decided to do before you spoke. It's different from an instant decision. If I tell you I'm going to sell the car, it means I'm going to sell the car in the future, but I decided to sell it before I told you that I was going to sell it. Here we have some other examples, and here we can talk a bit about the pronunciation. Here's another plan using going to. I'm going to buy a new car next month. I'm going to buy a new car next month. It's a plan. Here we have a future time reference. Here we have the negative. He's not going to take the new job. To form the negative, all we need to do here is put not after the verb be. Are you going to visit Peru? This is a question with going to. Here we need to put the verb be before the subject. In the statement it's subject, verb be. Subject, verb be, but here it's verb be, subject. This is a question. Actually, I should have put here a question mark. So future plans. Before we continue, let's talk about the pronunciation, because here I put, I am going to sell the car, but as I've said before, normally native speakers don't say that. They say, I'm going to sell the car. But the actual pronunciation of this, so first of all, native speakers are going to use the contraction here. And I just used another contraction. Native speakers are going to use the contraction here. Secondly, native speakers are not going, this is not how you write it, but they are going to reduce the to, and it's going to be more like a t, going to sell, going to sell. So the way this is going to sound is, I'm going to, reduced. You don't write it like this. I'm trying to explain here the pronunciation. You don't write it like this. Going to, maybe doesn't even have the going to. I'm going to sell the car. Or what you will often hear, and it's something that I noticed while I'm actually explaining this, I'm actually using it myself. Probably I shouldn't, not in an English class, but it's a very natural way to speak. And that is, people are just going to say, I'm gonna sell the car. This is, you can't really write this, only maybe in a song or a very informal writing. But this is really what you're going to hear a lot of the time. I'm gonna sell the car. So nobody is going to say, I am going to sell the car. They're either going to say, I'm going to sell the car, or I'm gonna sell the car. You will hear this very frequently. So, and if it's in with another subject, he's going to sell the car. He's not gonna take the new job. Are you gonna visit Peru this summer? That is the type of thing you're going to hear in the street. Are you gonna visit Peru this summer? So if you hear people say gonna, what they're actually saying is going to, and they are talking about, or they are asking you about your future plans. Your future plans. Let's continue with the next page. Now here we're going to look at, we saw previously, we can use the present continuous for future arrangements. Now in a minute I'll talk about the difference between a future arrangement. Well, maybe I should begin with that actually. What's the difference between a future arrangement and a future plan that we just saw? Well, they're actually very similar. But I've tried to explain it down here a bit, the difference between, you can't see it again, sorry. I must remember to move these when I go to the new page. Let's begin down here and look at the differences between going to and the present continuous, and the differences between a future arrangement and a plan that we saw on the previous page. The difference between a plan and an arrangement is very small. We're getting married on December the 13th. This is an arrangement. It's a fixed date. It's fixed. It's going to happen on December the 13th next year. And this one is a plan. We're going to get married next year. But we haven't actually decided. It's a plan, it's going to happen, but we haven't decided the date, we haven't made the arrangements, we haven't booked the church, we haven't made the arrangements. That's the difference between a plan and arrangement. A plan is something you're going to do without arranging the details. And An arrangement is we have everything ready. So the difference between a plan and arrangement is quite small. So on many occasions, it's interchangeable. You can use this tense, which we use more for arrangements, which is the present continuous, which we've seen before, because the present continuous is the, let me just get the structure. With the present continuous, we're going to use the subject, the verb be, and the verb with ing. It's the same present continuous that we use to talk about things happening now, but we're using it here to talk about arrangements in the future. So these two, the present continuous and the going to, sometimes they're interchangeable. I could say I'm meeting her later, or I'm going to meet her later. It's really not that much difference. I mean, if you're in a real life situation, having a conversation with somebody in English, and you say, I'm meeting her later, or you say, I'm going to meet her later, nobody is going to notice or say, oh, you used the wrong structure, because it's more or less the same. I mean, there are some situations where you would have to use the present continuous. We're more likely to use the present continuous for arrangements, for meeting people, for seeing people, with things with other people. These two structures could be interchangeable in a lot of situations. But this one is more common for arrangements and going to more common for plans. And here we see also here some more structures, some more here with the other subjects. You, we, they, we need to use are meeting, and if it's he, she, or it, you need to use is. It's the same present continuous that we've seen many times before. And of course here we would use the contractions. I'm meeting her later, you're meeting her later, we're meeting her later, they're meeting her later, he's meeting her later, she's meeting her later, it's meeting her later. And then here I have some more examples. They're getting married in December. Negative, they're not leaving until tomorrow. And question, are you seeing her tonight? The same present continuous that we've seen previously, but here we're using it for future arrangements. One more thing that I didn't mention, down here, we have two sentences. We're going to, oh no, sorry, it wasn't that one. This one here, this is the one I wanted to do here. Hold on. This one here, sorry, the last one. Let's move that over there for now. Let's just look at this here. I'm going to go to London next week. Here I'm using the going to structure, but when the main verb, here the main verb is go. So when that happens, irrespective of whether it's a plan or an arrangement, we don't normally say that final go. We just say, nobody says, I'm going to go to London. They say, I'm going to London, I'm going to London, or I'm going to Paris. Good. So that is, I'm running out of time already. This class is going so quickly, and I've got a lot of stuff to cover. So we've looked at going to for future plans. We've looked at present continuous for future arrangements. Going to and present continuous, very similar, can interchange them sometimes. Let's go to the next page, which is actually turns out to be the same page because we've already done that one. Let's go to the next one. Let's look at the future simple. We saw also the future simple, and we saw the future simple was made for, I keep spelling decisions wrong, sorry, decisions, because I copy-pasted. We see the future simple with the modal verb will is used for instant decisions, promises and predictions. So what's an instant decision? Well, an instant decision is not a plan. You cannot use this tense for plans or arrangements. You can only use it to talk about the future when you decide to do something in the moment of speaking. For example, here's an example here. You look sick. I'll go and get some medicine from the chemist. Okay, in this sentence here, I'm looking at the person. I see the person look sick. So I decide in that moment that I will go to the chemist, or in American English, drugstore. We also have the word in English, pharmacy. Pharmacy, chemist, or drugstore. British English, American English. So the first use, the thing that you need to remember with this tense is that you cannot use this tense to talk about plans. If you decided to do something before you spoke, then you need to use either going to or the present continuous. Let's look at the structure here. We did see this one in level A2. So it's very simple to form this tense because it doesn't change. It's the same for all the subjects. I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. We're just using this auxiliary verb or modal verb. This is called a modal verb. It's like can, plus the base verb. Don't make the mistake of adding here a to. This is wrong. Do not add to there. That's wrong. Wrong, wrong. There's no to. Some people do that. Any modal verb is just followed by the base verb. I've got the cross there, sorry. I will do it. So, very easy to form this tense, and this tense is used for instant decisions, promises. I'll do my homework, it's a promise. Predictions, this is like a prediction, you won't do your homework. Notice that the negative of will is won't. Another prediction, I don't think you'll do your homework. Often we use this tense to make predictions, and we often use it with I think or I don't think. I'm tired, I think I'll go to bed now. Instant decision. So this tense is used for instant decisions, promises and predictions. Let's look on the next page. We also saw at the beginning of the class that we can use going to for predictions too. We can use going to for predictions. So what's the difference between using will and going to for predictions? Well, the difference is when we have evidence now that supports us in making the prediction, we use going to. For example, look at those clouds in the sky, black clouds in the sky, it's going to rain. I am making a prediction based on evidence in the current situation. I can see the clouds, so I know or I think it's going to rain, so I'm making a prediction. But when there is no evidence, now you use will. Or maybe it's better to say, you cannot use will to make a prediction if you have evidence now. Actually, sometimes it's ambiguous. I could say, for example, I think prices are going to rise next year, or I think prices will rise next year. In that case, both of them correct, because it really depends if I have evidence now. If I have evidence now, like if I have a document, an economic study in front of me, I need to say prices are going to rise. Another thing I said there was, and I mentioned earlier, very common to use I think or I don't think when you make these predictions, just to emphasize that it's your opinion. So two ways of talking about predictions. I think probably going to is easier to use. You have evidence now. Will, you cannot use it when there's evidence in the current situation. It's not correct here to say, look at those clouds, it will rain. That's incorrect. You need to say, look at those clouds, it's going to rain. Okay, so has everybody understood everything? Because I've been talking for about 45 minutes. I need a drink of water. Questions? In the last class, we did the past and people got the questions correct. Let's see if people can get these questions correct here. So what we're going to do here is choose the correct tense or structure in each question. For example, let me highlight these are the two options here. These are the two options. I need to move that. I always forget to move these because I can't see on my screen my own video over there. I have to look at the other monitor over there, and sometimes I forget, and then I forget that you can't see it. So I need to move it a little bit more, I think. Let's move it a bit more. I think you can see it now. So what you're going to do is choose the correct structure. Sometimes, maybe in some of these, it's possible to use both structures. But in number one, what is the correct structure? I am going to study physics next year at university, or I will study physics next year at university. And we already have one correct answer from Coyote. Very good. The correct answer, of course, is I'm going to. If you've understood what I've told you today, we can only use going to here because this is a plan, and for plans we need to use going to. Number two, we are going to, or we will go to China next week on vacation. Going to, very good. We need to use going to. It's exactly the same as number one. It's a plan. It's a plan. We cannot use will for plans. I think this is the most important thing to remember. A lot of people, when they learn English, they use will to talk about plans. We do not use will to talk about plans. And in fact here, if you remember, if we look at this here, we saw I told you earlier, we are going to go to China next week. It's a plan, but when we have a plan and the main verb is go, we don't say the go because we don't want to repeat go 2 times. So nobody says we are going to go. We just omit the O and just say we're going, and we use, here we would use a contraction. We would just use the present continuous because the present continuous, if you remember, is used for arrangements, and an arrangement and a plan are very similar. So when the main verb is go, we just drop it and we say we're going to China. We're going to China. We're going to China next week on vacation. Here too we would use the contraction. I'm going. Okay, here we've got another one. What are you going to wear tonight, or what are you wearing tonight? Asking about somebody's clothes. So, which is the correct answer? What are you going to wear? Says Miguel. And what are you wearing tonight? It's an arrangement, says Coyote. And the good news is that you're both correct, because in this situation you can use either. You can use what are you going to wear. Let's do it like this because we need the verb be in both of them. You can use it like that. You can say what are you going to wear, or what are you wearing? In this situation, you could use the going to because it's a plan, or wearing because what are you wearing because it's an arrangement. What are you going to wear? What are you wearing tonight? I think what are you going to wear sounds better to me. What are you wearing tonight? This is the way I would speak. I'm just checking with my own. What are you going to wear? What are you going to wear tonight? What are you wearing tonight? There really isn't any difference in this situation. What are you going to wear? What are you wearing? That is the way I would use that in a real world situation. Just moving my microphone cable. This microphone has like 20 meters of cable. It's all over the place. So in that one you can use either number four. I'm sorry, I promise I won't do it again. I'm sorry, I promise I'm not going to do it again. So this one, which is the correct answer here? Which is the correct answer here? I won't do it again. I'm not going to do it again. And as Coyote says, I won't do it again. Yeah, very good, because this is a promise. So you need to say the negative of will. I won't do it again. Next one. Do you think it will rain tomorrow? Do you think it is going to rain tomorrow? Which one is correct? Do you think it'll rain tomorrow? Do you think it's going to rain tomorrow? Or do you think it's gonna rain tomorrow? Which one is correct? The best of us says, do you think it'll rain tomorrow? That is correct, very good. But in actual fact, again here, both of them are correct. Do you think it'll rain tomorrow? Do you think it's gonna rain tomorrow? Remember, we can use, I'm asking you to make a prediction, and we can use going to or will to make predictions. So both of them are correct. Both of them are correct this time. Let's just make them blue. Number 6, I am meeting or will meet a friend this evening. I am meeting or will meet a friend this evening. Which one of these is correct? Who's got the answer? I am meeting, Coyote. Very good, because this obviously is an arrangement. And for arrangements, we need to use the present continuous. And finally, the last one. They are getting married or will get married on the 15th of December. Which one of these two is correct? Which one of these two is correct? Can anyone tell me which one of these two is correct? Teacher, what's the difference between make and do? That's another subject that I will cover in another class. Miguel will get married. Will get married. Will get married. Coyote will get married. Unfortunately, both incorrect. This is an arrangement. This is an arrangement. What do we need to use for arrangements? What do we need to use for arrangements? We need to use the present continuous. It has a date here. They're getting married. Sorry, I got married twice there. They're getting married on the 15th of December. This is future. The married here, they're getting married. The verb here is getting. Getting. They're getting married. This is not the verb. Let me take that off the red, because maybe that's confusing you. Get married means to perform that ceremony when two people join together. They're getting married. They're getting married. It's an arrangement in the future. Okay, let's have a look on the next page. I've just got some more questions. Maybe I've just about got time to finish the next questions. So here we have like little, I better check first of all that you can see this again. Yeah, I need to make it smaller. That's the problem. It won't fit on like this. Here we have like little conversations. Little conversations. So in each of these you've got A and B, two speakers. I'm only one person. So A says, sorry, A answers the phone and he says, sorry, he's not here at the moment. So B says, okay, now put the verb here in the correct tense. What does B say? What tense do you use? You make a call and somebody says, sorry, he's not here at the moment. With the phone, sorry, he's not here at the moment. What do you say? I'll call back. Who said that? Yeah. Best of HD. Very good, yeah. The answer is in the future simple, because it's a spontaneous decision. Obviously, the speaker didn't know the person wasn't there until he was told in this moment that he wasn't there. Conversation 2, she looks like she's put on weight. Oh, she's pregnant. She's have a baby next month. We can't quite see that. Let's see if I can move this down here. So move a few things so that it fits on the screen. If we make that bigger, I think that's probably better. Sorry. Yeah, number 2, she looks like she's put on weight. Put on weight means she's fatter. A says that. B, oh, she's pregnant. She's gonna. Yeah, people have said gonna, but what do you need with the gonna? Gonna is okay, although we don't really want to write that in an email. But you need to use, you need to use the verb. You need to put, she's gonna, the correct is going to have, but of course we can say gonna have, that's what people are gonna say. Gonna have a baby is a plan. She didn't spontaneously decide or instantly decide after 8 months of pregnancy that she was gonna have a baby. It's already planned. It's not her plan, maybe, but it's a plan. It was decided before speaking. She's gonna have a baby. Next one, number 3. One person, A, says, can we have chicken for lunch today? And B says, no, sorry. Pizza, it's already in the oven. That means the pizza is already cooking in the oven. The pizza is already cooking in the oven. So, what can we say there? We're going to have, very good. We got 2 choices there. I mean, we're going to have pizza. I would say there, I think slightly better, only slightly better is to say we're having pizza. It's because it's more of an arrangement. It's fixed, you know. It's already, the pizza is already cooking. Already cooking. So basically, you know, it's better to use that one. But as I told you earlier on, when we discussed that, it doesn't matter too much. You can say, we're going to have pizza, it's already in the oven, or we're having pizza, it's already in the oven. Okay, we've got about 4 minutes left, so let's see if we can finish these. Number 4, there's someone knocking on the door. Okay, what's here? What tense can we use here? Put the verb C here in the correct tense. Has anyone got the right answer with C? Someone's knocking on the door like that. Yeah, I'll see. I'll see because it's an instant decision. I'll see who it is. The person didn't plan this. Somebody just knocked on the door, so it's an instant decision. So an instant decision. I'll see who it is. Number 4, there's another number 4. This should be number 5, sorry, and this should be number 6. 5, there's no coffee. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You should say, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? There's no coffee. Don't worry. I'm going to go. No, because this is not a plan. If A says there's no coffee, we're going. No, not we're going. Not we're going. That's like a mixed tense. Going to. No. Person A says there's no coffee. So person B makes an instant decision, and as Roberto has said, and Coyote, I will go. I'll go to the shop. I'll go to the shop. I'll go to the shop and get some. I just decided. I didn't know before that there wasn't any coffee. Now I know there's no coffee. I'll go to the shop. Finally, can we meet on Monday? No, sorry. I visit my mum on Tuesday. Anybody got the answer to this one? The last question. The last question. I'm going to visit, says Roberto. It's possible, but I think it's better to say the other one. Does anyone know the other one? Because it's more like an arrangement. I'm visiting. You can say, as I explained earlier, you can say, no, sorry, I'm gonna visit my mum. I'm going to visit my mum. If you think of it as a plan, or you can say, no, sorry, I'm visiting my mum. I think it's better in this case, as I said earlier, when you're talking about arrangements with people, meeting people, visiting people, seeing people, we tend to use this tense, the present continuous. But it's not a huge error to say, I'm going to visit my mum. Nobody is going to criticize your English for saying that. And unfortunately, got 2 minutes to finish, so that's the end of the class today. Started a bit slow, but I think things got better at the end, and I think most people understood. Thank you very much for watching this class, and hope to see you in the next class next week.